Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we have Mr. Aditya Trivedi sir as our guest. Sir is a corporate lawyer and an entrepreneur based in Delhi. Sir started his entrepreneurial journey back in his law school days. He's the founder of the podcast named In Conversation with IPR and Competition Law, which has its presence in 90 plus countries today. Sir is currently pursuing an LLM in competition law and economics from Brazil's School of Competition. If you want to make a career in competition law or want to start with your entrepreneurial journey, or if you're looking to pursue an LLM abroad, this video is surely going to help you. Watch this episode till the end and let us know in the comments below how you like it. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for inviting. How are you?
I'm really good and I'm glad that you joined in. Thank you for giving me your time.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
At your profile, anyone could say that you have a very diverse profile. In fact, I would say that it is a very wonderful combination of law, leadership, and literature. So, would you like to say something on that?
Saying something on the three favorite words of mine, law, literature, and leadership. Law, as we all are related to law who are on the podcast, also the listeners. Either they are law students or maybe legal professionals, maybe lawyers. Or so law has always been my favorite. Studied law, now practicing law, mostly competition law, intellectual property rights, and regulatory laws. I can understand and I can advise on these laws very easily in comparison to other laws. So these are just favorite sectors, favorite practice areas of mine. Coming to leadership, I have been fortunate to work with some of the startups as their CEOs or founder, or now advising them as their lawyers. And when we are recording this, we are celebrating National Management Day. And I have been a member of All India Management Association Young Leaders Council, among other roles of mine. So leadership has always attracted me, and leadership with respect to management, with respect to entrepreneurship, and I am not talking about political leadership here. Then, when we speak of literature, I enjoy writing poetry. I enjoy writing short stories. I enjoy writing columns. Recently, one of my columns was published in the Free Press newspaper and also News 18, which is a leading media group in the country. So I enjoy reading and writing. So that's why these three combination you would be able to see on my profile. And thank you for even noticing it.
Absolutely, sir. And it's wonderful to know that you have so diverse interest and you actually manage your time accordingly because all of it takes time.
Yeah, so it's like you always divide your time as per your priorities, and your priorities can be something that you like. Priorities should not always be something that you are forced to do. But when we do
Right.
things that we like, then things come out differently and you are super productive.
So that takes me back to your law school journey. So you do have a very impressive CGPA, but do you think marks truly matter?
See, Rashmi, here I would like to make a statement that marks do matter, and people should contribute to the legal academics as they do in their moot courts or debate competitions and other extracurricular activities. We as a lawyer always imagine or relate ourselves to Harvey Specter or other such celebrated lawyers. My area of law is also what Harvey Specter practices. But then life is rosy, obviously. After graduation, you meet clients, you do a lot of meetings, you advise them. But to reach here, you should also focus on the journey. When I was searching about LLM options, I would speak about it later. King's College London clearly had a criteria of more than 8.5 CGPA. These universities, reputed universities around the globe, would not care how you are getting the CGPA or whether your university is strict or lenient to reward these CGPAs. You have to just make it. As a lawyer, we have to understand that we have to fulfill the criteria. Like while we read the rules and we tick the boxes for our clients that this is the compliance that we have done or this is the thing that we have to do, we should also do that in our journey as a lawyer. And academics should be on the priority, because I have seen recently that after school, the students think that it's not a criteria to judge and we should only do other things. But legal academics is not like that. If you are giving an exam of CRPC, you are understanding the law, reading the provisions. It's a very practical exam. If it is theoretical, then it's a matter of concern, and the university administration should take that up. That is not our area of discussion. But then students should attempt to give their best in the exams in the colleges. That will help them, even if they don't wish to become an academician. I'm not an academician. I'm not a professor. But then I'm very happy that I scored above 8.5 in my law school. And there are people who also scored more than 9 or 9.5. So there were a lot of people who did a lot of hard work. So this all helps, even as a lawyer or as a judge or as a bureaucrat or whatever you wish to become after your graduation. Your studies, your research during your law school will always help you. So
Okay.
focus on exams, focus on marks.
So a piece of paper can't decide my future, won't work. Maybe it won't decide your future, but it would definitely be a decisive factor whether you get into the university of your dream or
I
not.
would just say that a piece of paper does not decide your future. Statements like this or quotes like this, whoever has said these things, maybe Einstein or whoever, uh, I just consider these things as excuses. As lawyers, I also call myself an entrepreneur. So we should just make things work. Or as
Right.
entrepreneurs, we build businesses. So we can't give excuses that due to this reason, I'm not able to do this. So you should just do things rightly and tick the boxes. If you just say that no, teacher is very strict, I'm just score whatever is the maximum that he or she is giving. You have to be competitive. You have to be competent, because
Right.
world out there is not very easy to live with. You have that's what I believe in.
Absolutely, sir. But you are not only restricted to academics. While maintaining 8.5 CGPA, you are also very active in other co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So, what all competitions did you participate in, and how was your experience
Yeah,
of that?
above 8.5. I'll not reveal my CGPA, but it was not 8.5, much
Yeah,
above it. But okay, that's not a the area of discussion now. What apart from academics I used to do? I used to actively participate in university competitions and events. Whether it was a cultural event or an academic event or a lecture that the university is hosting or organizing, I was always active. Maybe in initial years as a volunteer, later years as an organizer, sometimes even as a speaker also. And then also in moot court competitions, intra-moot, which were in the university, and then external moot court competitions. That was also a mode of travel for all of us. And I understand that law students like a lot of travel through moot courts and debate competitions around the country.
right.
Earlier, in the COVID time, some things were online also, but now we see that all the things are going back to offline mode. So,
Hmm.
moot court competitions were a great source of my extracurricular, co-curricular activities. Debates I used to participate in, Asian parliamentary debates, British parliamentary debates. I was also ranked number one in all Assam debate competition organized by Assam Don Bosco University, if I remember correctly. And that got me an opportunity to speak at United Nations uh, program, which was on 27th May of 2020. So it was for UN 75 dialogue, if I remember correctly. So UN was celebrating its 75 years, and I was there to speak among other speakers. Since my university was based in Assam, so United Nations Assam chapter got involved. So a lot of such things happened, and used to engage myself in everything productive, which used to happen even in Guwahati or like even other things apart from law. I used to get myself involved into whatever productive I could do during my law school.
But among all this, which is your favorite memory?
Favorite memory of law school is, I would say, moot court competitions, I would say, and the travel that was involved there. Now I travel a lot due to work and I really like traveling. But moot court competitions were a great source, and that was the only thing that used to give us the lawyer spirit. Because in the initial years, you don't study a lot of law. Even if you study law, that seems to be a boring process. So I do understand when students say that marks should marks. You should make your own ways to understand the subject. You should make your own ways because you have to make things work. How to make things works is your job. That's not the job of any other person. It's a personal project. And the moot court competitions used to give us the opportunity to research, also opportunity to speak, also an opportunity of leadership because you are teaming up and you have to coordinate with your teammates. Divide the role. Division of labor is very important. Management also gives an important perspective there. Then you have mentors, you have advisors, you have faculty, you have seniors who help you. So this is a very comprehensive process because debate is personal, quizzing is personal, academics is personal. Moot was a teamwork. Moot used to be a teamwork. So that was very engaging for me. I used to participate every year, every semester, kind of. If not every semester, then every year at least.
Okay. Mooting is a very combustible process. I mean, if you get your team right, then half the work is done. But if you could not get the right team, then apart from research and practice and everything, that itself becomes a very big problem to coordinate among your team and get things done. It also teaches you some leadership as well as entrepreneurial skills, I think.
I do believe so. And I was given an advice by one of the seniors to keep my team as it is. And by mooting, I also believe that you develop an interest in certain areas of law. Like my main area of practice is competition law, and my interest area developed due to a moot court competition, which I did at NLU Jodhpur in March of 2020, just before the pandemic. So
Hmm.
moots do help you, and then it's also advised to keep your teammates as the same so that you have a good understanding. And I did try to keep my meet to teammates same, just maybe a bit of minor uh, replacements due to the interest area or the practice area of law. But mostly I did moods on based on competition law.
My next question to you was about this only. How did you develop an interest in competition law?
Right. So I have always been a student of economics. Still, I am a student of economics, and I consider economics as a great source of learning, not only professionally but also personally. Spirituality is also something that I relate to economics, how economizing of resources can be connected to your personal values, ethos, and other things. I do believe in a lot of such as and ideologies. Originating from economics is our law, intellectual property rights, and competition law. Both are interrelated. There are certain interfaces and certain stark differences also. So, my interest in economics helped me to understand competition law when I was preparing for a moot court competition, which was randomly chosen by us in my second year of law school. And when I was preparing for it, I really liked the subject. And then we did the moot. We didn't go very well. The moot didn't go very well. But then it was the pandemic period and we all were at our homes. The original story is that there were certain books like by Professor Richard Wish and Abir Roy, and these two people are closely associated in my life. I have hosted Professor Richard Wish twice in my life. He's the emeritus professor of King's College London. And I hosted him twice, got to interact with him multiple times. Last professor taught me in one of the courses of my competition law. So I consider him as my mentor in this practice area. So these the books written by these great people were at my home, and I was wondering what should I do because at that time you couldn't return books. There was no colleges in offline mode, so these books were with me at my home. So I thought that we have some time, and we always used to think when will the colleges reopen. There was no certainty. So I thought to I was always a good reader, and I was always a person who liked to explore other areas. And I was keen on understanding this law then. I was keen on reading these books. Nobody told me to. I just kept on reading the subject, understood it, and I liked it very much. Then I out of the income of one of my startups, I invested in a particular course, which was very expensive at that time, and then got to understand the subject in another 6 months. So it took me around 1 year. Nowadays, people believe that you can understand any subject in 3 days, 4 days. There are certificate courses of 7 days or maybe a month. I am strictly against these kind of crash courses. You cannot understand law in 1 day or 1 week or 1 month. I gave myself full 1 year to understand. I was doing nothing at that period. I have done a lot of internships. A lot of people who know me or people who are listening would already have maybe scrolled my profile and they would know that, okay, I have some bit of experience in this law in 2020. I did nothing else. No internships, no papers, no blogs at that time. Until unless I understood the law, I did nothing. But that's not the approach that I would suggest to everyone, because that was pandemic and we'd have limited resources. We had limited resources. But my advice area that you like, and a year is ideal. You should not think that you will understand any subject in 1 year or 1 month, sorry, or by just doing a moot. This all will take some time.
Right. So you need to give enough time in order to decide the right career path.
Exactly.
Okay. So moving on to your podcast, how did that come into shape?
Right. So I run a podcast for the people who do not know, in conversation with IPR and competition law. So it is India's first podcast on competition law and one of the first podcasts on intellectual property rights. So we started in a bit early in 2021, though the idea originated in pandemic. But we started it in August 2021 when we released the first episode. Planning was since pandemic itself. And it is with my best friend Ishita, who was also my batchmate at NLU Assam. And we thought of this idea because we were listening to a lot of podcasts, and we too are a bit entrepreneurial in nature, and we always look forward to new ideas. Before that, I already had a few startups and was working on them. So there was a bit of background to all this, that I had some experience in running organizations or running boards. And then we developed this idea that we should have a podcast. There are podcasts in Europe, there are podcasts in US based on competition law or maybe intellectual property rights. In India also we should create this. We were not thinking a lot of things at that point. But as we grew gradually, this became a very important part of the competition community worldwide. I have hosted, my team has hosted a lot of people, Magic Circle law firms, primarily professors of Oxford, Cambridge, MIT, and uh, competition law partners, not only based in India, but based in Europe, based in US. I have hosted the Competition Council of Spotify, also other such guests who are doing neat things in antitrust community. So it has been great connecting with all of them. We have also hosted the officials of competition commissions of different jurisdictions. So it has been very interesting throughout and very interesting. And the community has also gained from it as we receive the feedback that it develops a bit of thought leadership in the fraternity. So we are happy to contribute in whichever way possible. And this was our small contribution to the community. And it's a not profit.
Big congratulations for that. So it's a big thing to achieve, to host professors from different parts of the world and top-notch law firms. So big congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But you must have faced some challenges. So would you like to talk about that?
Right. So as we also discussed a bit earlier about how we have to make things work as entrepreneurs, and you have to just make things work. There might be challenges, but you have to work with them. You have to live with it. Initial challenge in the podcast was acceptability, because we were new. We were
Right.
students. Now we are lawyers. The most of the team in podcast now are experienced lawyers working at different law firms and places. But earlier we were students, second year law students, or third year law students working on a podcast, leading it as founders. So it was a bit difficult for us to get accepted. But then there are a lot of open-minded people. There are a lot of motivational uh, factors, and European community accepted us first. I always recognize this. I always acknowledge their support. European antitrust community, to be precise, Brazil's-based antitrust community, to be precise, Brazil's-based, Germany-based, London-based. They all used to motivate me personally as well as on LinkedIn. There are people still who are our advisors. Dr. Ambardar is our advisor. Uh, Maya Dobrik from Serbia is our advisor. And I would like to recognize these two people who have been advising us since the start. And this motivated us. This used to help us in overcoming the challenges of acceptability, then challenges of finding guests initially, because we were very young. So we would also rely on recommendations of people who have come on our podcasts. Challenges of reaching out, the public reach, I would say, because competition law is a very niche area, and we have dedicated But we only have 500 lawyers in India who practice competition. In our intellectual property rights, I do not have a figure because intellectual property rights is a big area now, but competition is not a big area. We are only 500, maybe less. If more, maybe a bit more. And even if it is a bit more, I would argue that those people would not be practicing only competition then. They might be interfaced with international trade or public policy or intellectual property rights or mergers and acquisitions or something like that. So we are less than 500 in India for sure. So, and we are trying to reach out to all the people in India. A lot of people who are related to competition community, we engage them actively in podcasts and also some other initiatives of ours. Worldwide, we are a community of around 5,000 to 10,000, I would say. If we have to extend it, maybe let us just extend it to maximum 15, 20,000, not more than that. So it's a very limited audience. And third person might not find all of this very appealing because they are saying only you have only 5,000 audience. But then they have to understand that we are a small community in ourselves and we are trying to touch maximum of them. So it's a not by objectivity. So these were some of the challenges, but I think that we are able to cover most of them, and now we are working on expanding it and reaching out to the community in the best way possible.
Talking about India, you started podcast when nobody was actually listening. Not many were actually listening. It doing it is just another thing. I mean, you can't even think of that. So you started it when you were in your law school. That too in second or third years. That's a big deal. Congratulations on that, sir. You tried to maintain CGPA above 8.5 to get into the college of your dream. But sir, is it really necessary to have an LLM degree? And from outside the India?
My answer would be different for different practice areas and different career choices.
Okay.
For me, I'm a corporate lawyer, and competition law is one of my main areas.
Right.
I would say I always wanted to do an LLM, and from the top 10 LLM throughout the globe, and Brazil School of Competition is one of them. We are taught by professionals and law firm partners based in Brussels and also London, and also officials of European Commission, and also economists, because economics is a very important uh, factor in a. So you have to know good deal of economics to practice this area. So my priority was clear that I want to do an LLM and from outside India, just to hone my skill sets, to gain jurisprudential knowledge in this area, because this law, people say this law, we take a lot of uh, our foundational basis from Europe. Uh, and competition law is one of them. The competition laws, a lot of jurisprudence we borrow from Europe and not from US, although antitrust law originated in the US and Canada. So this was my reason, that understand the law of where the jurisprudential basis come from. The same is advised to people who wish to practice a law which is new, which is novel, which is niche. If you have to practice arbitration, go to Singapore, go to Hong Kong, go to Vienna, the places where it is mostly discussed, debated, because then you are also part of the discussions and conferences that take place in that city or country. If you have to practice IPR, maybe go to London or any other place. So you have to, if you have to understand criminal law, no need of going anywhere. You should know only the Indian law, because criminal law is jurisdiction specific. So, and you have to practice constitutional law, your Indian LM is fine. With laws which are purely corporate in nature, or which are very much niche, like competition law or intellectual property rights, I would not advise to do an LLM from India, because a lot of jurisprudence is not developed and we don't have good teaching methodologies or pedagogies. Foreign pedagogies are preferred, at least from my perspective or from my understanding, where we do mostly case study based analysis, where we think like lawyers and we don't do rote learning. We don't do projects based on nest. So that's why that is my criteria.
Okay. That's wonderful, sir. So, what would you suggest to those who really want to go for an for LLM abroad? How to go
It's
about
a very
it?
interesting journey. I remember writing my SOP sitting in Barista, Guwahati. It's a very interesting journey. And I don't really think that you even need an LLM advisor or consultant for it. And that's another statement that I would like to make. You might find a lot of LLM advisors study
Yes.
abroad advisors, consultants, even for IELTS. I would say that you are hurting my ego if you are saying that I have to take a coaching to give an English test. And we are lawyers. We read in English, we write in English, we speak in English, and we are speaking in English since our childhood, most of us from our schools. Somebody
Right.
told me that you can take coaching, you can take tests for IELTS and something like that. And I would say that this is ridiculous. I would never do it. Don't even say that to me. And I scored very good at IELTS. So read a bit, you all are lawyers who are watching this or law students. Maybe if not related to law, then also you can just understand this perspective that you need a statement of purpose, which is purely your own story. Why do you wish to pursue the LLM? Why do you wish to pursue that area of law? And what is the career that you wish to make? And then you write your story, you weave your story, you handcraft your story. So this is your purely your own. You don't need any consultant in that. Then there are letters of recommendations, references which you can take from your professor, from the people that you have worked with, maybe lawyers, maybe judges, maybe ex regulators or anyone who is relevant in that area of law. Make
Right.
your CV. So CV should be that particular law specific. Like my CV has always been competition law oriented. So
Yep.
it depends which career you wish to seek, which career you wish to pursue. And then you select good number of universities. You also select universities on the basis of their faculty, their location, their like Brussels is better in competition law than London because Brussels is the competition capital of the world. Brussels is the capital of Europe in a way because European Commission and Parliament is there, and competition law cases are governed by the provisions of European Commission, DG Comp, Directorate General of Competition, and then we have our appellate courts in Luxembourg. So this was my criteria. So you have to see the location and also the process, the preparatory process. I would say SOP, letters of recommendation, and then your CV and everything like this. You don't need anyone else. You just sit and do all of this maybe in your pre-final year or final year. But till your fourth year, you have to make your good CV with good academics. So things have to be ideal because then there's a lot of competition.
Right. But so you mentioned that your CV should be oriented to that particular niche where you want to go for an LLM or where you want to make a career. But a lot of us want to explore till our third year. We are not sure of what we want to do in the next 3 to 4 years, maybe. So, how do we figure out
I
that?
do not subscribe to that idea. I have never done it. I explored, but in my first year. So first year I took to explore everything, and then till my second year I was able to choose one area, and then I worked on that area for the next couple of years, and then developed a career in it. So I do not subscribe to that idea that you take a lot of time in exploring. I don't know the kind of people who say this. That's a complete waste of time. You can explore till your final year, but then you will not be able to make a career in any of the law that you explore. You have to be very much decisive. At least from my perspective, I would say that you have to be decisive. You should be decisive. That is completely fine, but then you have to be sure about it. You have
Right.
to answer to yourself. You should not assume anything that society wants this from you or family wants this from you. You should be decisive in yourself what you wish to pursue, what you wish to practice, and what interests are aligned to your career. And then you will be able to make a decision and then work on it. Once you have made a decision, then you work on it. Otherwise, nobody would like to see a puzzled CV, to be
Absolutely.
honest.
That's really interesting because I got one point. I found one point in your this answer very interesting that things have to be ideal if you want to make it to the top notch because we can have multiple excuses that we do not get internships in the first year. How do we explore so much in the first year, second year? But then you won't make it to the best if you keep on taking that excuses,
Right, that's
those
absolutely
excuses.
true.
So you have put in a lot of hard work and a lot of your time and energy in maintaining the CGPA and being able to crack that, being able to get admission in the topmost university. How does it feel, sir?
It feels good. I would not say extraordinary. I would not use the word ecstatic or something like that. It is just that it feels rewarding. Rewarding may be the right word because We do a lot of hard work, not only me, my friends who are there with me in different universities or places where I am associated with. All of us put a lot of hard work, and then when we get rewarded, it feels good, it feels satisfactory. But then this is not the end point, this is not the end goal, this is just a journey, and we are just ticking the boxes like BLLB tick, LLM tick. After that, some of us might also wish to pursue PhD, or maybe do some things which are not related to law, or maybe some diplomas or degree wise. Then career wise, people have different goals. Careers in law firms, career as an independent practitioners, career as in-house counsels, or maybe as judicial officers or bureaucrats, or other roles that people wish to do. So studying or doing the studying in a university that you wanted to, or working at a place that you always wanted to, these all things feel very rewarding, satisfactory, but they are a part of the journey, they are not the end goal. If a person is satisfied in this, then I don't think that they'll be able to grow, or they'll be able to come out of the comfort zones. A lawyer should always be open to challenges, and a lawyer should always be open to new learnings, because law is also changing. And another statement I would like to make, that in law there will be a lot of filtration in coming years between
Right.
new age lawyers and traditional lawyers, because
Absolutely.
digital economy is peeping in, and with the penetration of digital public infrastructure, a lot of new laws are coming in, like data privacy, even a bit of new competition law that I would like to call, especially after the amendments. Then we have uh, the NFT, blockchain, crypto. Regulations of these laws would be very difficult. Artificial intelligence, chat GPT, a lot of such as cyber law will be very technical. These things might not be dealt by old age lawyers. There are differences in procedural and substantive aspects of law when it comes to digital platforms. So a person should always be open to new areas to understand, to expand their expertise. If they are satisfied with the present, even your LLM might not be able to help. For example, if I'm an LLM in 2024, and there is some topic in 2020, 2026, or 2028, I have to revise the concept in real time. So
Right.
even if you are an LLM from Oxford, it would not help if you are not open to learning in your life. If you are not open to uh, uh, gain expertise at any age in your life. I'm from Oxford or Cambridge or King's College or even Brussels School or whatever. He or she has to learn every day, every month. It's a continuous process. Learning is a continuous process, especially in an area like law.
If you
In
want to be
2050, I can't go and say that, see, I am an right. So in 2050, I can't just say that I am an LLM from Brazil School of Competition. Just listen to me. And I can't quote them examples or references from 2023 or 2024 in that time this used to happen. I always have to be contemporary in giving advices, or the lawyer has to be contemporary. Very well researched advices need to be given. So LLM
absolutely.
and all these things are just a part of the process, are just a part of the journey, not the end in itself. Even without LLM, I have seen people who do very good in life. So these are just some means to the end, not everything.
Absolutely. And if you want to be relevant, you need to upskill yourself every minute, more so in this digital era when things are evolving so fast. And we all are very, very much replaceable. If you stop upskilling yourself, you'll be replaced within no time. So I think it is very important to understand this, that doing LLM or anything, we as students, we need to understand ki whatever we may achieve, we should look what's next to achieve and what's next to learn.
Right, that I completely agree with, and I really like this word replaceable. So in capitalism, everyone is replaceable. You have to be irreplaceable. If you are irreplaceable, then you are a good lawyer. Then you are a good entrepreneur. Your clients would not replace you with another lawyer. Your firm will not replace with you another associate or partner. So you have to upskill yourself. You have to be street smart. So when you are a street smart lawyer, you will be able to deliver. But if you're
Right.
not able to deliver, then you have to give thoughts to it. Even
Absolutely.
as an intern, start this process from an internship. If you are interning somewhere, try to deliver as much as possible. Try to be practical as much as possible. Learn in the best way possible.
Absolutely, sir. So, lastly, I would just like to ask you one advice, one general advice that you would like to give to everyone who is listening to this
A
podcast.
very strange advice: be deviant. In sociology, we use the word deviant or deviance to connote to negative connotations or something negative. But I would say be deviant. Think out of the box. Do things that people do not do. I do not
Right.
mean that you engage yourself in unlawful or illegal activities, but I do mean that you think out of the box and create things on your own. Do value addition in your life as well as others' lives. So be deviant in that perspective. If you just follow the line, you might not be able to reach the destination.
Thank you so much, sir. I would just want to make a comment if you allow. It's very interesting that you have very diverse profile, very diverse interest when it comes to other things. But uh, in law, you were very clear from your after that also after graduation also in the competition law. So you have very what do I say? Very straight approach while choosing career and a very diverse approach otherwise. How do you balance this personalities?
This is a very interesting question. And for the first time, I have been asked this. So we have multiple personalities, we have multiple thought processes, we have multiple lives of ours: professional life, personal life, and academic life, or something like that. So that we have different lives. Entrepreneur life. So in entrepreneur life, I do like managing my ventures, my uh, things. In legal life and in corporate life, I do like working with firm and working with clients. So these all are things which are different in nature. And even at law school, I used to manage my legal work with some of my volunteering engagements, not for profit engagements or even speaking engagements. Like I have always been a public speaker, so used to engage. I have engaged with United Nations multiple times, some of their youth organizations also. I was also a member of Y20 India Secretariat, the youth engagement group of G20 last year. I was very busy with the secretariat. So a
Yes,
lot of such things, or whatever in society, I just believe that in society, whatever you can contribute, you should be able to do that. Then it should not be that you are a lawyer, why should you do this or that? If you are able to contribute, just do it. I believe in that criteria. If I'm not able to contribute, then I do not volunteer. So that's why these diverse areas are the reasons of my diverse networks as well as diverse opportunities that I got and still getting.
absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for taking out time. It was really great talking to you and knowing this all insights from your experiences. So kind of you to
Thank you
give
so
us
much.
time and
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure interacting, and these were some really great set of questions.
thank you so much, sir.